The suburban trial of Diesel the truck. It all started on a Thursday: blue skies, warm breeze, diesel fumes in the air, and the sweet aroma of cinnamon rolls drifting from the kitchen window. Just another day at my little roadside haven, Diesel Joe's Café. I was leaning on my F-350, sipping from my chipped mug that read, "Truck first, talk later," while Tina manned the espresso machine inside, cracking wise about customers who ordered half-decaf oat milk foam fraps. Like they weren't just milkshakes with a superiority complex. That was the moment I heard it had unmistakable reverse beep. You know the one. A tow truck's battle cry. I turned, slow as molasses, coffee halfway to my lips. There it was. A rusted white tow truck backing into my lot like it was staging a high-stakes hostage rescue. At the wheel sat Earl, the human version of an overdue utility bill, sagging shoulders. Eyes screaming, "I don't want to be here." And striding beside him, orthopedic sneakers stomping across the pavement with the self-importance of a game show buzzer, was the legend herself, Marlene Platt. Marlene was the kind of woman who weaponized clipboards and laminated everything, including, probably, her soul. Today, she was sporting a visor, capri pants, and a t-shirt that read, "How Lives Matter," whatever the hell that was supposed to mean. She had that smug expression of someone who had written Yelp reviews about emergency rooms and thought she should be on the hospital board. She pointed at my truck like it owed her child support. "This vehicle is in violation," she declared. I blinked. "Of what?" "Code 14B7, she snapped. "Improper parking on a community-regulated commercial lot." "You mean my cafe's parking lot?" I said, sipping my coffee. Marlene waved her hand at Earl. "Hook it." Earl gave me a helpless look, then at my truck, shiny, freshly waxed, glistening in the sun like a middle finger to fuel efficiency. Marlene, maybe we should." She cut him off with a shriek and flung open a folder like she was about to launch a federal indictment. And that's when things went from mildly annoying to beautifully, chaotically insane. Deputy Alex Cruz stood up from his booth inside the cafe. He didn't say a word, just walked out the door, the bell chiming behind him, trailed by 6 other sheriffs, all still chewing bites of breakfast burrito, badges gleaming, fingers sticky with blueberry syrup. Marlene didn't even notice them until Cruz's shadow fell across her clipboard. "You mind telling me what's going on here, ma'am?" he asked in that calm, "I'm about to wreck your whole day" tone. Marlene stiffened, flipped out a badge like she was on an episode of Suburban Law and Order. "Neighborhood Enforcement Division," she said proudly. Cruz took it, examined it. "This says, Mall Security Roleplay Team." "It's temporary," she insisted. "The real one's in the mail." Tina was already outside by then, phone recording, mouth agape in wonder. Inside the cafe, everyone had migrated to the windows like kids watching a schoolyard fight. Someone shouted, "Yo, that's the truck lady." Laughter erupted. Earl was sweating bullets. Marlene pressed on like this was her moment to shine. "This vehicle is in repeated violation of aesthetic harmony, obstructs visual flow, and contains unauthorized modifications." I looked down at my rig-lifted suspension, off-road tires, and a bumper sticker that said, "If you can read this, you're too close." Ugly? Sure. Illegal? Not a chance. Cruz stepped in. "So let me get this straight. You're towing a man's truck, legally parked on his property, using a fake badge because it doesn't meet your aesthetic." "Yes," she huffed. Then came the moment I'll never forget. Cruz didn't blink. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to unhook that truck before I charge you with attempted grand theft auto in front of 7 armed sheriffs eating pancakes." Marlene froze, mouth open like a broken garage door. "Where'd you get this badge?" Cruz asked. "eBay," she muttered. "Come again." "I said eBay," she barked, yanking it back like a teenager caught with a fake ID. Earl edged toward his truck. "Maybe we should go, hon." "We don't retreat, Earl," she snapped. "We're not invading Normandy." That was it. The entire cafe was now filming. One guy queued up the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme on his phone. A toddler munched popcorn in slow motion. "This isn't over," Marlene shouted at me. "Oh, I think it is," I said. "Unless you'd like to get arrested on my freshly waxed chrome." Cruz held up his notepad. "Marlene Platt, right? Mind sticking around for a few questions?" "You're all in on it," she yelled. "This truck is a public nuisance." "The only nuisance here," I said, "is you and your cosplay law enforcement." She stomped off, tripping over a speed bump, nearly taking out her clipboard. Earl gave me an apologetic look. She watches a lot of Judge Judy, he said. The tow truck left empty except for a Prius accidentally latched to the back. The crowd erupted into applause. And you'd think that would be the end of it. But Marlene Platt was not built to let things go. No, by the time Friday morning rolled around, I learned she hadn't just wanted to tow my truck. She wanted vengeance. It started with Earl walking into the cafe like a man visiting confession. Hat in hand, eyes wide. She's not done, he whispered. I blinked. Marlene. He nodded solemnly. She's got a plan. There's a corkboard involved. Tina dropped her tray. Oh my God. She has a conspiracy wall. She's trying to get your truck registered as abandoned across multiple counties, Earl said. Filed 3 incident reports yesterday, 1 under her name, 2 under aliases. She's calling it what? Operation Neighborhood Purge, he said. She made a logo. I was at the county office within the hour, armed with coffee and righteous fury. I explained everything to a clerk who looked like she'd smelled despair for a living. She stapled something, then revealed, yeah, those reports were all submitted from the same IP address. Back at the cafe, Tina was digging. Turns out Marlene had history. Fake flamingo bans, citations for slow mailmen, fake wildlife ordinances. It was her world. We were all just violating it. I sent the info to Cruz. She's impersonating municipal departments now, he said. We're working on charges. Just stall her. But Marlene wasn't waiting. The next morning, I found her in the lot before sunrise. Another tow truck. New operator, her cousin Lou. The man looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Marlene had her laminated fake report and her fake badge, now swinging proudly around her neck. Step away from the vehicle, she barked. Are you serious? You were warned. Lou looked apologetic. Man, I just go where the cash tells me. You're not doing anything, came Cruz's voice from behind. He stepped forward with 2 officers. Marlene Platt, we've got 3 complaints of false impersonation, multiple fraudulent filings, and 1 active harassment investigation. I was protecting the neighborhood, she cried. No, Cruz said. You were harassing a business owner because you hate his truck. Lou raised his hands. Lady, I'm out. I want no part of this HOA war. She turned to Cruz. You're siding with him? Over a community official? You're not an official anything, he said. Then he pulled out the Kikera report she filed claiming my truck had neon underglow and emitted threatening vibes. Tina laughed so hard she dropped both coffees. It does give off an aggressive aura, Marlene insisted. Ma'am, come with us, Cruz said. And just like that, she was escorted away, muttering about bylaws and diesel aggression. You'd think that was the end. You'd be wrong. A week later, Tina burst into the kitchen laughing. She's back. I looked out the window. There she was, sash, megaphone, folding table. A sign read, Suburban Justice Court, all are welcome. Marlene had declared her parking lot court open for business. Within minutes, a crowd had formed. People brought lawn chairs. Tina made scorecards. Cruz showed up in gym shorts with a smoothie. I leave for 1 weekend. By the time Marlene summoned me to her kangaroo court, she'd already convicted a neighbor for a basketball hoop his kids hadn't used in 3 years. She pointed to my truck. This vehicle intimidates pets, disrupts aesthetics, and violates communal tranquility. That schnauzer bit my tire. Provoked by engine aggression, she snapped. I stepped forward, arms wide. This is not just a truck. It's a symbol of freedom, of resilience, of the American right to drive something unnecessarily powerful. Tina crossed the line with cookies. I'd like to cross-examine the witness, she said sweetly. You're not recognized, Marlene said. I brought cookies. You may proceed. Almost everyone had received some ridiculous violation from Marlene. Lavender Gardens, grilling after 8 p.m., culturally divisive bumper stickers, the offending one read, I break for tacos. Cruz stepped in. All right, enough. You can't stop justice, Marlene shouted. This isn't justice, he said. It's a Word document with typos and glitter clip art. Then he handed her a paper. You're being officially served. Marlene paled. This isn't over. Tina leaned in. I think it is. But thanks for the sales boost. Marlene ripped off her sash, tossed her megaphone, and stormed off once again, tripping over the same speed bump. That night, the cafe hosted a Karen Court after-party. Someone dressed as my truck. A guy wore a sash that said Supreme Lawn Judge. The new menu item? The neighborhood guardian, strong, bitter, and guaranteed to make you yell at squirrels. The truck? Still gleaming. Still legal. And now bearing a custom sticker designed by Tina, legally approved by the court of public opinion. As for Marlene? Somewhere out there, she's probably laminating another report. But until then, diesel and justice reign supreme.